Hi friends, I want you to pause for a second. Just look around you right now. Maybe you're sitting in a coffee shop, maybe you're on the bus, or maybe you're just chilling on your couch. It looks like a normal, physical world, right? But what if I told you that there is a second layer to this reality? An invisible layer that dictates almost everything happening to you right now. Think about it. Why did YouTube recommend this specific video to you? Why is the coffee in your cup priced exactly at that amount? Why did the traffic lights turn green just as you approached, or red when you were in a rush? None of this is random. It's all orchestrated. But who is the conductor? Who is the person pulling these invisible strings? Today, we are going to meet the wizards of the 21st century. We aren't talking about Hogwarts. We are talking about Silicon Valley, Kiev, London, and everywhere in between. We are answering the big question: who is a data scientist? And no, it is not just a guy in a hoodie staring at a screen of falling green numbers like in The Matrix. It is actually one of the most human, creative, and strangely enough, philosophical professions of our time. If you have ever wondered if you have what it takes to predict the future, or if you just want to understand how the world actually works today, stay with me. By the end of this video, you won't just understand a job title, you might just discover a new way of thinking. Let's dive in. So let's start with the basics, but let's throw away the boring textbook definitions. If you open Wikipedia, it will tell you that data science is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods. Blah, 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 boring. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine a massive, chaotic library. This library contains every book ever written, every receipt ever printed, every text message ever sent, and every heartbeat recorded by a smart watch. It is billions of items. This is big data. Now, imagine you dump all of those books and papers into a pile in the middle of a room. It's just a mess. It's useless. A data scientist is the detective who walks into that room. They don't just organize the books. They look at the pile and ask a question. A specific, dangerous question. They might ask, based on the receipts in this pile from 1990 to 2020, can we predict which of these people will get divorced next year? Sounds spooky. It is, but it's also magic. A data scientist is essentially a translator. They speak two languages perfectly. They speak the language of machines, code, algorithms, mathematics, and they speak the language of business, or rather, the language of human needs. Their job is to take that chaotic pile of data and turn it into a single sentence that helps a human make a decision. For example, a company might have terabytes of data on taxi rides. The raw data is boring, just GPS coordinates and timestamps. The data scientist looks at it and says, "Hey, I see a pattern. Every time it rains on a Tuesday, demand spikes in this specific neighborhood by 400%, but we only have 5% more cars there. If we move cars there before it rains, we make millions." That is the essence. It isn't about analyzing numbers. It is about finding the truth hidden inside the noise. Now you might be thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but do I need to be a math genius who dreams in calculus to do this? This is the biggest myth, and we need to bust it right now. Yes, you need skills, but let's look at what I like to call the holy trinity of data science. Picture a Venn diagram with 3 circles. Circle number 1 is math and statistics. Don't panic. We aren't talking about solving impossible equations on a chalkboard like in the movie Good Will Hunting. We are talking about probability. We are talking about understanding that just because 2 things happen at the same time, it doesn't mean one caused the other. A data scientist needs to be the person in the room who says, "Wait, are we sure this is true, or is it just a coincidence?" You are the professional skeptic. Circle number 2 is computer science, or coding. Yes, you need to tell the computer what to do. You usually use languages like Python or R, but think of coding like a superpower toolkit. You can't analyze a million rows of data in Excel manually. Your computer would explode. Coding is just the lever that allows you to lift heavy objects. It's the tool, not the goal. But here is the 3rd circle, the one everyone forgets, the one that actually gets you hired. It's called domain knowledge, or simply business intuition. This is where the human part comes in. You can be the best coder in the world, But if you are working for a hospital and you don't understand how doctors categorize patients, your model will be useless. If you are working for Spotify and you don't understand music genres or how people feel when they are sad versus happy, your playlist algorithm will fail. So a data scientist is actually a hybrid. They are part hacker, part statistician, and part subject matter expert. Speaking of Spotify and Netflix, let's talk about how this actually impacts your life. Because the best way to understand this role is to see it in action. Have you ever finished a series on Netflix, felt that empty void inside, and then suddenly Netflix suggests something else and you think, "No, I won't like that." But you click it anyway, and 5 hours later you're obsessed. How did they know? A data scientist at Netflix didn't just look at action movies. They broke movies down into thousands of tiny data points. The color palette of the poster, the packing of the dialogue, the amount of explosions per minute. The fact that you tend to watch romantic comedies when it's raining in your city, yes, they can correlate weather data with viewing habits. They built a recommendation engine. This is one of the flagship products of a data scientist. They are building a mirror that reflects your own tastes back to you before you even realize you have them. Or take something more serious, healthcare. There are data scientists right now working on analyzing X-rays. A human doctor might see thousands of X-rays in their career. They are great, but they get tired. They get hungry. They have bad days. An algorithm trained by a data scientist has seen 10 million X-rays. It doesn't get tired. It can spot a microscopic anomaly that indicates cancer years before a human eye could see it. In this case, the data scientist isn't just optimizing clicks. They are literally saving lives. They are taking the intuition of a doctor and scaling it to infinity. Before we move on to the darker side of this profession, because yes, there is a dark side, I want to ask you a question. Are you the kind of person who asks why a lot? When someone tells you this is how we've always done it, do you get a little annoyed? If you nodded, you already have the mindset. The coding you can learn, the math you can learn. But that curiosity, that is the raw material. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the mechanics of our world, consider subscribing to the channel. We take apart complex professions and ideas just like this, so you can navigate the modern world without a map. Hit that button, and let's keep investigating. Now let's get real. Let's talk about the responsibility, because with great power comes, well, you know the quote. Data science isn't just innocent math. It has ethical consequences. And this is where the job becomes incredibly interesting and challenging. Data reflects the past, and the past is often racist, sexist, or just plain biased. Imagine you are a data scientist at a bank. You are asked to build an algorithm to decide who gets a loan. You feed the computer 10 years of historic data. The computer learns that people from a certain zip code or a certain background were rejected more often in the past. So the computer, being a cold, logical machine, decides to keep rejecting them. It thinks it's being efficient. But it's not. It's automating discrimination. A good data scientist isn't just a builder. They are a guardian. They have to look at the model and say, wait, is this fair? Why is the model making this decision? This is called explainable AI. There is a famous story, an urban legend in the industry, but it illustrates the point perfectly. It's called the beer and diapers story. Supposedly, a retail chain analyzed their data and found a weird correlation. On Friday evenings, men who bought diapers also bought beer. The data showed a strong link. Now, the algorithm doesn't know why. It doesn't know that dads are tired, picking up supplies for the baby and grabbing a reward for themselves. The computer just sees numbers. A bad data scientist says, put the beer next to the diapers to sell more. A great data scientist asks, what does this tell us about the customer's life? This brings us to the most important tool in the data scientist's arsenal, storytelling. You can build the most complex neural network in the world, but if you cannot explain your findings to the CEO or the marketing manager or the doctor, your work is wasted. You have to stand up in front of a room and say, here is the story our data is telling us. You have to visualize it. You have to make it human. So, where is this all going? Is AI going to replace data scientists? I hear this all the time. ChatGPT can write code now, so why do we need data scientists? Here is the truth. AI can write code. AI can run the math, but AI cannot ask the right questions. Data science is not about answering questions. Computers are great at answers. Data science is about asking the right questions. A computer can tell you that sales are down. A data scientist looks at the data and realizes sales are down because the website crashes when people try to buy from mobile phones in a specific region, or because a cultural trend shifted. The role is evolving. It's becoming less about writing lines of code from scratch and more about being a data architect or an AI product manager. You become the pilot of the AI, not the mechanic. We are moving into an era where data is the new soil. I don't like the phrase, data is the new oil, because oil is dirty and it runs out. Data is like soil. If you plant seeds in it and tend to it, you can grow things, insights, products, solutions. But if you neglect it, it just becomes mud. The data scientist is the farmer. Consequently, if we look at the big picture, who is a data scientist really? They are the modern-day cartographers. Hundreds of years ago, explorers sailed oceans to map the physical world. They drew lines where the land ended and the sea began. Today, the physical world is fully mapped. We have Google Earth. But the digital world, the world of human behavior, economic trends, and biological complexity, that is still a wild, unmapped frontier. A data scientist is the person holding the compass in this new world. They are navigating through the fog of information to find the island of insight. It is a career for the curious. It is a career for the stubborn. It is a career for those who believe that the truth is out there, hidden in a spreadsheet, waiting to be found. So friends, to wrap this up, a data scientist is not a calculator with a heartbeat. They are storytellers who use data as their ink. They are skeptics who use statistics as their shield. And they are innovators who use code to build the future. If you are sitting there thinking, I'm not good at math, remember that math is just a language. You can learn it. What you can't teach is the burning desire to know why things happen. If you have that, you are already halfway there. The world is generating more data every single second than we did in entire centuries of the past. We are drowning in information but starving for wisdom. We need people who can bridge that gap. We need you. I hope this sparked a little flame of curiosity in your mind. If it did, you know what to do. Check out the links in the description, maybe try a beginner's course, or just start looking at the world and asking, what data is driving this? Thank you for spending your time with me today. Time is the most valuable data point we have, and I appreciate you spending yours here. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to decode more of the world with me. Like this video so the algorithm, our digital friend, knows it was useful. I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious.